What is up, guys? Wanted to start doing more consistent content around things that I know y'all would appreciate. And, we started with the Tuesday tip. We want to start doing a weekly Q&A now. I've gotten to the point where I've become known for them on Instagram, but, after I do them, they get lost in oblivion to our Instagram overlords. So, what I wanted to do was, start doing them once a week in a place where they can actually live and people can go back and, see the questions. Because I've gotten a lot of really good questions over the years, so I figured it'd be a good thing to have on YouTube. So I put up a story on my Instagram asking for questions for this the other day. It's probably been like a week ago now. It was right before I went on vacation. But these are the questions we got that day. So I'm just going to go through them, answer them, and then sign off with y'all. But if you want to get your question answered on the YouTube Q&A, just keep an eye out on my story on Instagram, and next time you see it up there, throw a question in there. Chances are, if it's a good question, it'll get answered. But let's get started. So, first one, how to get leg striations. So, leg striations are a function of having low body fat. It's the same thing of, how do I get abs? You can train them till the cows come home. You can have them developed, as pronounced as possible. Same thing with quads. You can have like the biggest quads on the face of the planet. But if they're covered in body fat, you won't see striations. So, being able to see striations in your legs, your arms, shoulders, being able to see your abs, all that's a function of body fat, not, muscle growth, as long as you're not like emaciated. So, why do you like a push-pull legs compared to a bro split? This is an easy answer, and, it's one that makes a lot of sense to people, and I explain it this way is, traditional bro split is, you train chest one day, you might do triceps with it. You'll do back, maybe biceps with it. Then you'll have a shoulder day, and then a leg day, right? You might have an arm day. Whenever I was doing a bro split, I trained chest and triceps, back and biceps. Took a day off, and then trained. What did I do? Shoulders. No, I didn't. I did chest and triceps, and then hamstrings and calves. Then took a day off. And then trained back and biceps, shoulders, and then quads, and then took another day off. So bro split's not a bad split, but whenever I wanted to increase my frequency, the shoulder day needed to go away. And when you think about it, there's so much overlap between a shoulder day and a chest day. That's the big complaint I have about the bro split is when you combine the chest and the shoulder day, you have like half the wear and tear on your connective tissue and joints, and you're able to get a lot more frequency. And I got to the point where I was recovering from the once a week training, by 3-4 days after tops, and then, was waiting another 2 or 3 days to train it on the traditional bro split. So the push-pull leg split or, modified push-pull leg split like I do with the arm day, push-pull arms, legs, it's a great way to increase frequency in your trained body parts. And then also, it makes sense to me from a combining the chest and shoulder days. So move on from that one. What vitamins, organ supplements, and multi-minerals do you take? I take all of Revive's stuff. I'm Revive athlete. I've been with them for a while now. I really like the supplements they make. Some of my favorites from them are definitely their organ support ones. So the liver, the kidney, the heart. And, outside of that, my other favorites are lipid and then the multi-mineral. Because I drink a lot of my food, I want to make sure I have all my micronutrients covered. So the multi-mineral, multivitamin is important for me. And then obviously, regardless of whether you're an enhanced athlete or a natural athlete, if you are pushing yourself really hard in the gym, you are causing a lot of oxidative stress. You are causing a lot of waste product to be kicked off. You are placing stress on your internal organs. You should be taking supplements to help them function optimally. All right. Come here. Best exercise for quad sweep. Okay, this is like one of like my biggest pet peeves is, people think you can like target a certain part of your muscle with an exercise. It doesn't work that way. So, think about your quad. Obviously 4 muscles. They originate across your knee. All 3 of them. The only one that doesn't is your rectus femoris. It's quad and then across your hip. But they all anchor in the same point. So at the end of the day, you're trying to get a full contraction while keeping your joint aligned as much as possible. If you want to increase your sweep, you should have picked different parents, or you can just maximize the given genetics you have by getting your quads as big as possible. Something that I really want to preach to people that people kind of ignore a lot of the time is they're always focused on the outside of their leg, trying to make their legs look bigger whenever they have like a thigh gap all the way up. Like it's like a super heavy bodybuilder has a thigh gap like all the way up his leg, right? So what I'm getting at is focus on training your adductors just as much as you're focusing on how to increase your sweep. By filling that gap in the center, you're going to give your legs the much girthier appearance, and so think about that. All right. What are your thoughts on Sarms? I like this. I'm not going to delve too far into it. My thoughts on Sarms. Sarms to me are something that people are wanting to, in their minds, be able to say, oh, what I am doing is legal, or what I am doing, I am still natural. The legality of it is so easy if you are actually low T these days to get a TRT prescription and actually just take testosterone. And then if you're doing it because you're wanting to claim natty, you're absolutely not natty if you took SARMs. My best example of this is, there's a reason that SARMs never got FDA approved. There's a reason that anywhere you find SARMs, they say research chemical, not intended for human consumption. And then on the flip side of it, you have, your more traditional routes of testosterone replacement therapy, testosterone derivatives that have been around for, close to 100 years now and have, reams of clinical research behind their safety and efficacy and, long-term studies at this point because they've been around for so long. You cannot say any of that for SARMs. So not a fan of SARMs. There's a lot of nasty side effects they've caused in studies. I recognize those studies were done on rats, not in humans, but, there is carryover and cause for concern. Obviously, people have used them despite them not being for human consumption. And, the people in the field that have used them have reported some pretty nasty sides too. So do your research. I'm not a fan of them. Let's see here. Biggest cause of top set stalling on some lifts. Couple reasons, outside of the training session and the session structure, one of the biggest reasons that I think for people's progress stalling is they're not taking care of business outside of their training session. In the mirror and say, I've dotted my I's and crossed my T's on everything outside of the gym, and you are, week after week after week, stalling or losing ground on an exercise. I would say it's time to switch the exercise out for something else. A similar movement pattern, but a different exercise where you have runway to progress and, really continue to enjoy your training session instead of beating your head against the wall trying to progress a movement you can't progress on. Like I said, the biggest reasons for them stalling, I think, are, reasons outside of the gym, that, or, in my case, what I've experienced is, it's like I'm 6 months into it and it's finally we've hit a wall with it. We need to switch it out. Vegan protein powder or beef isolate? Lactose intolerant, by the way. So I'm going to say neither. If you get a actual quality isolate, especially a hydrolyzed isolate like we have in the Pro Series, or a real true 100%, not a blend whey protein isolate, unless you are absolutely direly deathly lactose intolerant, you should be able to handle it. The hydro from Pro Series especially. Liv, my fiance, is actually extremely lactose intolerant, and she consumes 3 scoops a day, and there's a bunch of people in the office, and at this point a bunch of people that I've just had DM me and stuff saying while they have been lactose intolerant, they tolerate it very well. I'm not a huge fan of vegan protein powder, and then beef isolate protein powder. Do your research on it, but chances are your beef isolate is just the creature feature parts like the collagen and hoofs and nastiness that will give a correct amino acid profile, but it's not the best quality protein in the world. So do your research on that. Okay. All right, guys, and we're going to do one more for this one. Last one we're going to do is, what is my favorite hamstring exercise? Actually did a Tuesday tip on this. My favorite hamstring exercise by far is the seated hamstring curl when done properly. If you want to see how to do a seated hamstring curl done properly, follow the link. And with that, I'm going to leave y'all. That was this week's Q&A. If you want to get your question on it, be sure to follow me on Instagram. Keep an eye on my story. That's where I'll post it up. Get your questions in, and hopefully I get yours answered next time. Appreciate y'all following along.